What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and we have made it to week 6 of our 2022 college football re-simulation. Going by quickly, and as soon as we finish this series, don't worry, we'll be starting our 2023 season simulation. So can't wait to get started on that. But we got to finish this first. I'm working on the rosters for 2023. If you want to get those 2023 rosters, they're going to be available on Patreon, and you can get our final 2022 rosters there as well. But let's get to the top stories. Clemson taking down Wake Forest. That was a great game. We showed you that one. North Carolina upsets Notre Dame. This was not one that I showed you. I really would have liked to have been able to show this one, but again, we have limited options here. And that was one that, again, was a huge upset. North Carolina taking down Notre Dame. Remember, Notre Dame beat Ohio State. You see NC State. Wow, they got upset by Ohio, so I missed this one. NC State loses to Ohio, and I feel like Ohio has maybe pulled off another upset already. We've got Alabama, Arkansas. That'll be a big game this week. Michigan, Iowa, going to be a big game. We'll preview this upcoming week here in just a second. Ole Miss, Kentucky, and then you got LSU. Forget winning in Baton Rouge. Try scoring a measly point in New Mexico. So I guess LSU, their defense must have really dominated there against New Mexico. And then Oklahoma, they start strong with a win over Kansas State. Remember, they were upset by UTEP back in week 1. So let's look at the updated top 25. And we will start here with the coaches poll. Michigan now number 1. What happened to Georgia? Georgia lost to Kent State. What? Georgia lost to Kent State 31-28. Yeah, I think we need to go back. Let's look through all the scores first. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let's go back and look at the scores. Remember, in real life, Kent State kind of challenged Georgia a little bit. That is crazy that they upset them, though. So let's go to the games here. LSU shut out New Mexico. West Virginia over Virginia Tech. And I'm not going to read all these scores. I'll just kind of scroll through here. Were there any other big upsets? Michigan barely survived against Maryland. But there it is, Kent State. It was 0-3. They just upset Georgia. Georgia drops all the way to 16. So that is a huge shakeup here in the big picture. TCU lost to SMU. Central Michigan, what is going on with Penn State? Wow, 1-3. They did beat Auburn. You know, when you simulate these games and you actually, and I do the simulation, I show you the games, they always come out very realistic. When I use my rosters, they always come out really accurate. But when you just do the super sim and just simulating the games like this, you always get crazy results. It's like it's totally random. Duke is 4-0. Clemson survives against Wake Forest. Buffalo and Mississippi State wins. Iowa State defeated Baylor 27-21. That was an upset. So a lot of upsets here from week 5. Oregon survives against Washington State in a good one, 38-31. As we go through here, Miami is 3-1. They did not lose to Middle Tennessee this time. Talked about North Carolina already. Texas is undefeated after a win over Texas Tech. Remember, they beat Alabama earlier in the season. Tennessee over at Florida. We showed you that one. That was a great game. UCLA is 3-1, looking pretty good. Iowa still undefeated. Texas A&M surprisingly dominated against Arkansas. Didn't see that one coming. There is South Alabama at 3-1. Watch out for them. Houston putting up big points. That was their first win of the season, though. Arizona's 3-1. Ohio State rolled over Wisconsin. They're back up to number 3 in the rankings. Alabama takes care of Vanderbilt. I still can't get over Kent State, Georgia. FAU is 5-0. They're still not ranked. They just beat Purdue. Show this team some respect. Come on, they're 5-0, and they've got a couple of big wins. I think they beat UCF as well. South Carolina rolls. Kentucky rolls. Florida State's 3-1. They get an easy win. Talked about Oklahoma earlier beating Kansas State. USC, they're still undefeated. They're up to number 6. Washington, why is Washington not ranked? They're 4-0. No love for the Huskies. 42-10 over Stanford. That one doesn't make any sense. Utah 40-0 over Arizona State. Let's continue here. Final game, BYU over Wyoming. So again, some crazy upsets already this season. How about Penn State losing, I think, to 2 different MAC teams? That's pretty wild right there. All right, let's go to the coaches poll first. Texas A&M's up to number 2. Well, that's a lot different from real life. Obviously, you see the potential that team had last year. Ohio State, Oklahoma State's up to number 4. Haven't really been challenged yet. We'll see once they start playing some tougher teams. Texas, despite beating Alabama and being undefeated, Texas is ranked behind Alabama. Even the game is showing some bias towards the Crimson Tide. Miami, Tennessee, Ole Miss, Baylor, Iowa, Georgia again down to 16, Florida, Wake Forest, Kentucky, NC State, Arkansas, Oklahoma, North Carolina now ranked, Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh. Again, where is FAU? Where is Washington? We'll see if those two teams win this week and if that'll be enough to get them into the top 25. Heisman race, we'll see if anything changed there. Bryce Young now up to number 1. Kenny McIntosh number 2. Hendon Hooker, Chris Rodriguez, and Caleb Williams dropping all the way down to 5. I believe he was at number 1. Had a decent game, it looks like, so I don't know why he dropped so much. But Bryce Young now the front runner in the Heisman race. Let's preview this week, and I'll tell you the games that I'm going to be showing here on the channel tomorrow. And we'll start with a weeknight game. And that weeknight game is going to be Washington and UCLA. So a chance for Washington to see them play and see if they can get a big road win over UCLA. And I would think that would be enough to get them into the top 25. All right, so then we go to the noon window games. Take a look at who's playing. It'll be NC State and Clemson. That will be the game that I show tomorrow, the noon window game. We got Michigan State, Maryland. Who else is going to be playing here? Rutgers, Ohio State, Stanford, Oregon, Nebraska, Indiana, Kansas, Iowa State, Texas A&M, Mississippi State. That'll be watch out for the Bulldogs there to potentially pull off a big upset. We've already seen a lot of upsets, like I talked about. Georgia, Missouri. Remember, Georgia struggled a little bit in that game as well last year. Could they lose again? That will be interesting to watch. FAU is going to play North Texas, so I'm keeping an eye on them. But it's crazy with their run in basketball. Now what they're doing here on this simulation. Let's see, who else? All right, so this will be the 3:30 window game, the afternoon window. And again, it's not going to be 3:30 here on the channel tomorrow. It'll be probably a little bit later. You can check the channel and see what time all the games are scheduled. But Oklahoma State and Baylor, that'll be a big game in the Big 12. First test for Oklahoma State would have been a lot bigger if Baylor had not just gotten upset by Iowa State. You got South Alabama, Louisiana, Temple. Let's just go through the rest of these games. USC, can they stay undefeated? We go to the primetime games now. LSU, Auburn, that'll be always a good one. That's where game day is going. Really doesn't make a lot of sense. Neither team is ranked. Oklahoma, TCU, that's going to be a big game in the Big 12. West Virginia, Texas. Can Texas stay undefeated? Who else do we got here? Utah, Oregon State, that'll be a good one. So this is the primetime game we'll be showing. Arkansas, Alabama, both teams ranked. Big SEC West showdown there. Wake Forest, Florida State, that'll be a good one. Illinois, Wisconsin, big game in the division. Kentucky and Ole Miss, that's a good one as well, but I feel like Alabama, Arkansas, a little bit better game. Alabama ranked a little bit higher. It's a division game, so that's why I'm going to be showing that one. So unfortunately, we won't get to see this ranked matchup, but you can check the score updates during the games. I'm sure they'll keep you up to date on all of these other games, all the big ones. And what's going to happen with Penn State? Now they play Northwestern. Are they going to lose again? Pitt, Georgia Tech. Michigan, Iowa. So that'll be the late night game. That is a huge one there. Both teams undefeated. Michigan going on the road to Iowa. Again, that will be the final game we show you tomorrow. 5 games tomorrow. Virginia Tech, North Carolina, as we go through the rest of these games. And so again, the lineup for tomorrow, we have 5 games. Once again, the weeknight game is going to be UCLA hosting Washington. We'll have NC State at Clemson, Oklahoma State, Baylor, Alabama, Arkansas, and then Michigan, Iowa. So 5 big-time games. We'll see what happens, as this has already been a crazy season, and we are just now at week 6. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more right here on the SG1 Sports Sim channel.